Welcome back. I'm your host, Byron Goggin. Now, while swimming with manatees may be a ton of fun, you have to remember that manatees are an endangered species. With the help of volunteers and guides like Birds Underwater Adventures, you'll find that education is the key to ensuring the manatees' existence.
They're wild animals, and you know, we don't go into where tigers are and you know, and pet them, obviously, but because of the manatee's gentle nature, you have to be careful, you know, and respectful of that.
And it's these two traits that make this activity so unique. Manatees are the only endangered species that are allowed recreational contact with humans. But it's this very interaction that provides the tool that protect them in their natural environment. And that tool is education.
The instructor that takes you out, or the tour guide that takes you out, tells you a lot of different stories and you know, a lot of the habits and what the manatees do, you know, as far as this, you know, the season changes and how they go out, and the difference in the salt water and the fresh water, how it cleanses their body. I mean, there's a lot of information to be learned. So it's not only fun and enjoyable, but it's informational as well.
If we do not guide them in the water and educate people, this privilege could be revoked. It is Fish and Wildlife that say that we can get in with these animals and view them. They could change that. So we must do our part, everyone do our part, to show people the way to behave with these beautiful animals.
Oftentimes, people don't understand that they're actually doing something wrong by swimming over and petting a manatee. But in reality, an act like this is considered to be pursuit, and that is illegal. It's kind of a confusing boundary, but the rules are pretty simple.
The best policy is passive interaction. Passive interaction, where you just view the manatees and watch what they're doing. If they want to come up to you, okay, but that's not the prime goal, is just to touch a manatee. I don't like to hear it when someone says to me in the morning when we're about to embark on a tour, my whole life, all I ever wanted to do was to touch a manatee. And I might pull that person aside and say, they're wild animals, and we have to let them do what they want to do. We can't touch them unless they come up to us and come very close to you. Your goal is not to swim with a manatee, but just to hang out with them and watch what they're doing.
And if self-control and patience is a quality that you don't possess, well, that's where the friendly folks at the Manatee Watch Volunteer Organization come in.
The Fish and Wildlife is stretched very, very thin. They don't have enough. They don't have it. They try to enforce speed zones. Obviously, the boats are what kill them, you know, and so they're out there doing that, and we're kind of their eyes and ears just to help them, that's all.
95% of the people are no problem, 5% are, you know, jerks, and then that's when you can threaten legal action. We have the number, we have law enforcement, or we can call the wildlife office and get somebody out here. Usually it doesn't come to that. Usually they just excited and they're just, you know, it's just a wonderful thing being out here with the manatees, and some people just get overcome with that.
Now, with as many people as there are in the water, you'd worry about overcrowding in the river, but there's really no such thing because manatees are pretty smart. If they don't want to see you, you just simply leave.
They have sanctuaries, and I think the sanctuaries are a good situation. The number of manatees obviously increased quite a bit since the sanctuaries went in. With the sanctuaries there, the manatee can stay out. The ones that choose to play can play with you, and the ones that choose not to can stay in the sanctuaries. And although there are some people occasionally that have wandered either by accident or even deliberately into the sanctuaries, it's pretty uncommon. So for the most part, if you get a group of manatee and say 10% want to play at the time and maybe another 5% later, the rest stay in the sanctuary, or if they have to, they'll swim into the sanctuary, and the ones that want to interact will come on out and play with you.
And it's this type of protection and provisions that will ensure a fun and pleasurable experience for both the swimmers and the manatees for years to come.